So she is with an organization that is trying their best to talk with minorities and convince them that no political party owns them, and they should think for themselves and look at the things that both parties offer, and then make a decision on what party they think they should be associated with. As somebody said, I heard a commentator say just in the last week, and I thought, and it was brutal. It was brutal. But it was accurate. He said, if you ever want to know what happened to the old Ku Klux Klan, just be African American and refuse to vote Democrat. You'll find them. They'll come back. And I thought, wow, that's a brutal statement, but there's sadly some truth there. He goes, so they're just hidden still in the same party that produced them to begin with. But just be African American and don't be a Democrat. And if you ever wonder what happened to the old Klan, it'll rise up again.
Can I ask a question? Why is she testifying before this committee? I'm gray as to why she is.
White nationalism is what they're claiming they're taking on, and they're trying to accuse her of what you'll hear in this. They're going to play a cell phone message of something that she allegedly said on her cell phone, which she gets angry because they're trying to pull out a little part of her conversation. And another thing I want you to realize, if you're watching and listening to this hearing, you'll also discover that right now in the political world, people go in before these committees, and based on what political party they represent, they have a foregone conclusion, and they're not really there to hear you explain yourself and then possibly change their minds. They don't even listen, and she catches them like, you're not even listening to me.
Yeah. Now, to your point, Rick, it is a cell phone that he plays the message, but the remarks are from a conference that she spoke at.
Okay.
Just to clear that up.
And she is part of a group. What's it called?
I don't know. What is her, Speedy? I know she's a big proponent of Blexic.
Right. And she also is the Turning Point USA Communications Director.
No, Blexic, we're not talking about the British leaving.
That's Brexit.
That's Brexit.
Brexit.
I've explained what this organization does, and Ted Lieu, we're going to have a blast with him.
Oh, yeah, Representative Lieu.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that that Trump defends nationalism, which means that he also defends white nationalism, and her, as an African American female, certainly takes issue with that. And this leads to quite an exchange, but I think an important exchange at this point in our country's history. Involving minorities being able to think and vote their own conscience versus being told that they belong to one party. And she takes that on loud and clear.
Yes.
So here's the part where they play the cell phone.
Yeah, the first person you're going to hear is Representative Ted Lieu, and this is courtesy of C-SPAN.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In congressional hearings, the minority party gets to select its own witnesses. And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist. But if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
All right, so my first question is to Ms. Hirschenoff.
Big deal.
Ms. Owens said, quote, if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. So when people try to legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
It does, Mr. Lieu. I know that.
I'm gonna jump
Ms.
forward.
Owens
She talks, and then that's another lady on the panel.
I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Lieu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again.
This is Nadler.
Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
You idiot.
You didn't listen to what I said.
Look,
May I continue?
Stay with it.
Please.
Stay with it.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives. By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
Good point. Come on, Prager, you.
Look, they have nothing to say.
Thanks, Mrs. Owens, and I yield the remainder of my...
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Lou got quiet there all of a sudden, did he?
What about old
him and Nadfish?
Yeah, what about old Nad and his gavel?
Well,
Got a little show-
this goes back to anything.
Not listening. Not even paying attention to what's going on.
If you,
You're not going to call anybody stupid.
you try to tie somebody to somehow praising Adolf Hitler, so that makes him a bad person. And what she was saying, and what very clearly she was saying, that yes, to some degree, Adolf Hitler was a nationalist, but that was not the evil part of Adolf Hitler. It was the fact he was a homicidal maniac and tried to take over the world. That was the bad part. Look, I think everybody who puts the flag of their country, holds it up and says a Pledge of Allegiance is a nationalist to some degree.
Yeah, she also said that he wasn't. You can't really call him a nationalist because if he would have done things that would define that, but when he went to kill and murder his own people, then he would at that point also cease to be a nationalist.
Yeah,
correct?
I think that would disqualify you as a nationalist, because by my definition, nationalist is you're looking after your people first and then the rest of the world. And it doesn't mean the rest of the world has to suffer. It just means that your people do not suffer on behalf of some globalistic idea.
And the rest of the world doesn't have to come under your country's rule.
Right.
The other part I love is when that idiot with the gavel wasn't even listening to her, showing that he wasn't going to listen to her response, and just half heard her say stupid and thought she called the person questioning her stupid. And when she said, no, you weren't listening to me, and he just shrugged his shoulder, didn't apologize.
No.
I said that this man must think that all black people are stupid.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that we can't think for ourselves, and we don't.
We wouldn't go listen to the whole clip.
And she went on to say that when she was talking, and I think this needs to be said loud and clear, a race of people doesn't belong to any political party.
Yeah, that was another clip that she said, is that exactly that, and went on to say some other things. Boy, there was a number of mic drop moments. In
First off,
hearing
the congressman.
Well, you saw why she's being attacked, because she's an African American woman that won't agree with the party that says you belong to us. Which could anything be more offensive?
I'm shocked that congressman played that clip. It was totally out of context, and even what was said was true. It didn't make her a bad witness.
Top of the hour. If you're leaving us today, we've enjoyed our time together. If you have more Rick and Bubba, we'll do a top of the hour break, and we'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.